In my manifesto there are four main aims. There is a school that serves as an asset to the community, because I don't feel like we're utilising our position in the town at the moment. I've also got a school where students strive to perform in every way. During my time at Droitwich Spa High School, I don't feel that we've been pushed to make the most of the extracurricular opportunities on offer, so I'd like to stress the importance of a good CV or UClass, the UCAS application, before students reach year 11 and 6th form. I've also got a school where students leave with increased opportunities for life. This was like the previous one, so students will undertake more extracurricular opportunities and that will put them in good stead for work and university. I've also got a school that welcomes and respects everybody. That's like an equality one, so we'd follow national campaigns regarding equality and diversity at the school.
If I was to be elected head boy, my first point would be to increase the amount of leisure trips and activities, which would be things like going to bowling, just being outside out of lessons, so you don't need to worry as much. The second point would be to find out what you want, so we'd have bi-monthly tutor questionnaires, which would be either every 2 months or twice a month. And then we'd find out feedback on whether you think we're doing a good job or what you want to improve and get some of your ideas. Then for the third one, which is just for the sixth form members, the study room isn't really up to par, so to say, with seating and tables, because at the end of the day there's loads of chairs which are all littered around the room, which means it's not really doing its job correctly, so it should be changed to suit everyone else. Then some members of the staff, including myself as well, would help work with the students to find out where they think the seats should go.
So the main part of my manifesto is a DSHS fund. So the fund's going to be split into two things to really advance the school, and basically it means that we get a bit of extra money on the side. So the first half goes to the students, and it can be done for stuff that the school council want to develop, or it could just go to other things that you want as students. So for the sixth form it could go to fans, because the common room is basically hot in the sun. For general things it could be outdoor seating and getting the amphitheatre finished, all the stuff like that. The other half will go towards departments and teaching and stuff like that. So for PE it could go towards just general equipment, science it can go towards lab equipment, DT it can go to a new laser cutter, and other essay subjects, just textbooks and stuff. And of course, to make the most out of this, like to do more fundraising, so we can get it really out there, and so it can go to more funds and help more people. The other part of my manifestos are to do more to get rewards out of things. So, for instance, Ask Tutor Learning, people can get more for that, and the winning house at the end of the year can get a special event, I don't know, like Drayton Manor or something. And the final part is to make use of tutor times, because 20 minutes every day, 5 days a week, sitting there doing nothing isn't great. So it could be used for doing revision or homework or other things like that. Thank you.
So my manifesto is going to be split into 4 points. The first of which is going to be to reform the voting system. Currently the voting system is focused more on the year 12s, and years 8 through 11 don't get as much of a say. My plan is to change that so that it's much more equal without taking the say from any group. My second point is to focus more of the school's funding onto an outside study area. I'd just like to point out that I don't take credit for that idea. That goes to Mr. Tibbets and his tutor group. My third point is going to be to increase funding or direct more funding to equipment for science and sport, because currently what they have, as good as it is, can be improved. My fourth point, which I think is my most important point, is to set up a system on the portal where anyone, no matter what year they're in, it could be staff, it could be students, can voice their opinions, and on a weekly basis the council will go over that section of the portal And it's an opportunity for anyone to get their opinions heard. It'll be anonymous, and there'll be a filter on it to avoid any, rude language. And so that means it's not just the points I want to bring through to the role of head boy, but it's everyone's voices I want to be heard. It essentially makes me an ambassador for you.
My manifesto includes 4 ideas. The first is to improve the student voice. As I've seen on the portal, there's a section which isn't really used, and there's information on it which is really outdated. I feel that the student voice should be improved, as it allows the lower school to suggest their ideas and then not have their friends question them or try to interrogate them and ask them why they've done that. So that will then have an anonymous section. My second part of my manifesto it's essentially, I've touted it as bridging the gap between the lower school and the sixth form. From my time at DH during the sixth form, I've noticed the lower school don't often talk to the sixth form, and the sixth form don't communicate with the lower school. However, from when I've started, this is the main thing. I was encouraged throughout the whole school for every student to talk to each other. I feel as if that this links into the student voice and how it will bridge the gap, because the lower school will suggest ideas which can then be talked by the sixth form council and then passed on to the lower school council as well. My third point is extracurricular activities. I feel as though the school has enough, but there are opportunities for extra ones available on the timetable. For me, I personally enjoy studying and reading about politics, and I have a feeling that there are many students who are in the lower school that have the same view as me. If I want to do this, I will actually give up my own time and actually organise this activity on a Friday after school, or whenever it's suitable for those that are interested. My fourth utilises the TV screens down in the canteen. Back when I was year 8 and I started in September 2011, the TV screens were always on. It doesn't matter what was on, they were always on. Sometimes it was the news channels, sometimes it was the Sky Sports news channels, and also Sky News. I feel as though if the students who know that these are on, they'll also know what's going on around them, and it will help them to socialise with others about the same current affairs and topics. My fifth point, it's more a luxury for sixth formers, but I feel as though it could be used for the lower school. In the sixth form, every half term we do an event called Formal Friday, and I feel as if the lower school should be given this privilege as well, as it helps to portray the school in a positive manner and a professional manner, and also allows the lower school to basically not wear their uniform for one day and look smart and casual.
The first thing I'd like to do if I became head boy would be to improve the amount of fundraising opportunities that are currently on offer. So I'd like to, alongside the current non-uniform days, I'd like to add in things like fun runs. I believe this would be a good opportunity to raise money for things like the outdoor amphitheatre, and possibly to invest new money into departments that currently may need more money to help improve people get involved with doing that subject. Another thing I'd like to do is I'd like to improve the rewards on offer to students who achieve high attendance, high Sims points and high attitude to learning grades. I think this would give you a greater incentive to work really hard during your lessons, and that will give you the opportunity to achieve high grades when you complete your GCSEs and A-levels. I'd also like to give a greater amount of the house competitions to be decided by you. I think this would mean more of you would be involved in taking part. I mean, the competition would improve a lot. I also think this would mean that more of you would care about the house system, so it would mean more to you what is happening inside the houses. The final point is that I'd like to invest more money into things like PE equipment that could be used, as well as in extracurricular activities, could be used at lunchtime, as I believe we do not have enough students involved with physical activity outside of PE lessons, and I think this would be a good opportunity to get more students involved with PE activities outside of lessons.
My first manifesto would be to complete the amphitheatre. That would mean that people would be able to sit there at lunch times and break times and sit out with their friends and eat their lunch. The second one would be to organise more events in the theatre, such as the lip sync battle. This is good fun and entertainment, and also it raises a lot of money for charity. My third one would be to allow YouTube access in school, as a lot of homework is based on this. Also, my fourth and last one would be to ask people their opinions on what they would like to see happen in school.